Good morning and welcome to One Baha'i, that regular show where, I just sit around and share a couple thoughts about the Baha'i faith. So, this morning, I wanted to share 3 different things that I found recently. The first has to do with the Dawnbreakers. The second is a passage from the Bahai World, Volume 4, 1930 to 1932. And the third is from the compilation The Importance of Arts in Promoting the Faith. Now, you may remember that I was recently talking about how to read Nabil's narrative, things that we could do to make it easier. And I mentioned the names. Now, one of the first names that you run across in the Dawnbreakers is Sheikh Ahmed. And I talked about how you can look at the name and you learn a little bit about the person. The name is in a sense a biography half the time. Sheikh Ahmed means, well, his name is Ahmed and he is a sheikh. He is a teacher. The name that's given there initially is Sheikh Ahmed Asai. Asai means he's from Asa. But that's not actually the full name. The full name is actually given in a footnote. And according to his son, I'm now quoting, Sheikh Abdullah, his name was, I have to get ready for this one, Sheikh Ahmed ibn Zainuddin ibn Ibrahim ibn Sakir ibn Ibrahim ibn Zahir ibn Ramadan ibn Rashid ibn Dahim ibn Shimruche ibn Suli, Iyasai. I love it. That's such a cool name. I'd love to see him write it out. But what it actually is his biography. It's his genealogy. It's Sheikh, teacher, Ahmad, son of Ibni, son of Zainuddin, son of Abraham, son of Sakir, etc., etc., etc. But we just call him Ahmad. I wonder what his friends called him. Anyways, the second passage, I was reading some of the old Bahai World volumes recently. They're such a remarkable resource. When you go through them, there's usually an introduction, part 1. The aims and purposes of the Baha'i faith, some excerpts from the Baha'i writings. Part 2 tends to be current history, references to the faith, developments of the faith. Part 3, I'm not even sure what to call it. It's a directory, a bibliography, and so on and so forth. But part 4 fascinates me. That's where you get the various articles written about the Baha'i faith at those times. And when you go through the list of authors, it's like reading a who's who of Baha'i history. In volume 4, you have, a letter of Shoghi Effendi to start. An article by George Townsend, Horace Hawley, Elaine Locke, Lady Blomfield, Stanwood Cobb, Keith Ransomkeeler. The list just goes on and on. Martha Root, Louis Gregory, Tokajiro Tori. I'm not even sure how to pronounce his last name. Torii? Japanese man. Absolutely fascinating individual. And I love reading these articles from almost 100 years ago, talking about the development of the faith at that time and what they thought was important at that moment in history. Fascinating articles. Highly, highly recommend them. Now, the one that I read recently, I read 3 of them recently, but the one that really stuck with me was from Lady Blomfield, called Abdu'l-Baha's Visit to London, 1911 to 1912. You may recognize Lady Blomfield as one of the early heroes of the Baha'i faith in England. She was quite a remarkable individual, and she had the astonishing bounty of Abdu'l-Baha staying in her home while he was in London. So this article that she writes, she says that it includes things that were not included in Abdul Baha in London. So I was very eager to read it. And one thing that she talks about is having dinner with the master. She says, day by day, friends brought offerings of flowers and fruit, so that the dinner table was laden with these beautiful tokens of love for Abdul Baha. Whilst cutting off bunches of grapes and giving them to various guests, he talked to us of the joys of freedom, of how grateful we should be for the privilege of dwelling in safety under just laws, in a healthy city, with a temperate climate and brilliant light. There was much darkness in the prison fortress of Akka. After his first dinner with us, he said, the food was delicious, and the fruit and flowers were lovely. But would that we could share some of the courses with those poor and hungry people who have not even one. And I was very touched by that. I found it a beautiful statement. It was wonderful food, but there were a number of courses. If only we could have taken some of those courses from our own dinner table and shared them with the poor who are unable to eat. But then there was a footnote. And the footnote made me raise an eyebrow. The footnote is, what a lesson to the guests present. We agreed that one substantial, plentiful dish with salad, cheese, biscuits, sweetmeats, fruits, and flowers on the table, preceded by soup, and followed by coffee or tea, should be quite sufficient for any dinner. I want to read that list again. One substantial, plentiful dish with salad, cheese, biscuits, sweetmeats, fruits, flowers on the table, preceded by soup, followed by coffee or tea, should be quite sufficient. I wonder what they had for dinner that night. I read that. I just started laughing hysterically. Such different times. I'm so used to just eating rice with a little something on it, pasta with a little something on it, a big salad for dinner. I look at all those courses and think, oh yeah, that should be quite sufficient. Okay, the last one. The importance of the arts in promoting the faith. It's a beautiful, beautiful book, beautiful cover, great compilation. December 11th, 1931. Somebody sent Shoghi Effendi, I guess, some music. Now, as an artist, I find it very important to use the arts in the faith, to use the arts in teaching the faith and sharing the ideas of the faith. And I read this, and the letter says, because it's written on his behalf, he says, Shoghi Effendi sincerely hopes that as the cause grows and talented persons come under its banner, they will begin to produce in art the divine spirit that animates their soul. How bad was it? No, sorry, that's just my interpretation. I read this, somebody sends Shoghi Effendi a piece of art, and he responds, as talented persons come under the banner of the faith, maybe they'll be able to produce some art that shows the spirit of it. Wow. I'm sure it wasn't meant that way. That's just my own twisted interpretation. As talented persons come under the banner of the faith. It goes on. Every religion has brought with it some form of art. Let us see what wonders this cause is going to bring along. Such a glorious spirit should also give vent to a glorious art. I love reading these passages from the past and just seeing how people perceive the faith. And I love some of these comments from our central figures that really, when you think about it, they're quite amusing. There's a great story of Abdul Baha when he met Admiral Perry, who had just returned from the Arctic. And Abdul Baha praised him for discovering that there was nothing there. I love it. Anyways, well, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope this offered a little bit of amusement to your day. And I'll try to record again later this week, but with the way my work is going, I'll probably see you next week. Enjoy the day, enjoy the week, be safe. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, etc., etc. At the very least, please just comment. I love reading the comments. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.